This is Straight Talk Politics, February 5th, 2025. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done a podcast. I'll explain that later in the presentation. You got a surprising message this morning after Benjamin Netanyahu's February 4th visit to the White House. Give Trump's peace plan a chance. I've been working on Battlestar Mercury more than I've been working on other things. I do not regret my decision to lay down politics for a few weeks. It was very hard for me. If you like this podcast, YouTube video, please press like, share this with friends, comment, subscribe, notify. If you want to get into podcasting, now's your chance. Just make a comment, I'll answer. Many people can figure out my email address on this. It's pretty obvious. I'm not going to say it out loud or put it on the screen, but it's pretty easy to guess my email address here. So send me a message. I want to build this up, but I need to be doing it with people. I'm a Democratic Party member, always have been, but I support President Trump's peace plan and his Iran policy. Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is very simple, and it may work. Donald Trump did not seem senile or crazy with Benjamin Netanyahu on Tuesday, February 4th, 2025. He appeared to be right. Why would anybody want to return to Gaza? It's a war zone. For 75 years, it's been a source of misery, not only to the entire world, but to the Middle East. And there was somebody to blame for that. And it's not Israel. It's not the United States. It's the Arabs that continued to impart upon their brothers and sisters refugee status 75 years after the founding of the State of Israel. Why would anyone want to return to Gaza? That's what Dr. Trump said, and I agree. Why would anybody want to return to Gaza? The real reason is for 75 years, neighboring countries did not take Arab refugees, and it was part of their plan to destroy Israel. It was an intentional plan. It was done on purpose, and it was a crime against humanity. It was a cage match. I mean, you put millions of people in a tiny little box, no room to live, constant misery, constant anger, constant fueling hate, promising them things you cannot deliver, which was to militarily destroy Israel and to give the former residents of Israel who left for the 1948 invasion of Israel in May after Prime Minister Ben-Gurion declared independence on May 15, 1948. Their plan was to get out of the way, let the Arab armies kill all the Jews, and take a nice house overlooking the Mediterranean. Well, it didn't work out for them. And for 75 years, they were used as weapons, Arab against Arab. Palestinian is a made-up name. It's a made-up nationality. It was either made up by Yasser Arafat in 1964, or more accurately, historically, it was made up by the Romans in order to take Israeli identity away after constant revolts against Roman rule around the first century of the Common Era. Doesn't exist. It was a crime. Arabs deserved to be prosecuted. It was a policy of Egypt, and a policy of Syria, and the policy of Jordan, and the policy of Lebanon, and the policy of Iraq, and the policy of all the Saudi Arabia and all the countries in the Middle East was to give the so-called Palestinian people no way out, no alternative other than to fight the Israelis, and to put heat up on the fire and bubble up like a boiling pot, and in hopes that Israel will be destroyed. Well, their hopes for Israel did not seem to work, but their anger was directed at Israel, and it still was directed at Israel. And why not? I think they were stupid for believing their brothers and sisters that they were going to get the land back in Israel. They were going to get a wonderful place to live for Israel. 28 countries in the region. 28 countries, Arab countries in the region. We don't need another country. We don't need another so-called Palestinian state. We got 28 other countries. These people denied their genetic and neighbor brothers citizenship for 75 years. You couldn't go to school. You couldn't have a job. You have to live in a refugee camp and take handouts. You have no hope for your children, yourselves, your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. There are people who were born in 1948 Gaza and died there after 70 years, and they never had hope. They never had hope the hope that every American has for their children and themselves. And it's a crime against humanity. And I wish there was something to prosecute for, but it's pointed out. Those are my words, not Donald Trump's. That was a crime against humanity. Israel did nothing wrong. They had no place else to go. The fact that they did not have a state in the 1940s was one of the reasons that the Holocaust was able to be perpetrated against them. And Donald Trump said something very important. He's never going to let the world forget October 7th, 2023. Just like the Holocaust. It was a massacre. It was a crime. And, I'm starting to believe him. It never would have happened if he was president. Because if he was president and he had said these statements he just made on Tuesday from the beginning of his presidency, he would have won the 2020 election. And things would have changed more quickly in the Middle East. He made it clear to Iran, you're going to want to negotiate, but I'm going to make you broke. Just like I did at the end of my last term, I'm going to make you broke. I'm going to take away all your money. The sanctions are going to get cranked up. He sent them the message. No nukes for Iran. Come negotiate. Get something for your troubles, all that research and time wasted trying to destroy Israel. Those days are over now, and there's a new cop in the Middle East. After listening to Donald Trump's joint press conference with the Israeli Prime Minister, it was like a light bulb went off to me. Seriously, I just watched it an hour ago. A light bulb went off. It was like, of course. We've been wanting to say that some Israelis in the settlement movement, which they are absolutely wrong in wanting to reestablish settlements in Gaza. I hope Donald Trump does not allow any settlements to happen in Gaza. I think Gaza should be a resort or an education center, and there should be 100,000 people supplementing and working with the Israeli high-tech industry to make lives better for everybody else in the Middle East. Donald Trump wants to give the Gazan people housing, hope, and a place to live where we not have to worry about getting bombed, shot, or dead due to their Arab brothers, due to the lies of their Arab brothers, and he made it very. Some Gazans said the truth in Arabic. I saw recordings in Arabic. I have a little bit of Arabic, and plus there was translation on the screen. Even Al Jazeera. Give me some place to go, they said. We don't want to live under Hamas's rule. Get them out. Give me some place to go. I will never come back. And that's the fact. Trump is going to test that theory. He says 1.8 million. That's 2.2 million people. Whatever the number is. They're going to, if given the chance to leave, they're never going to come back. If given the chance to have a life and a home and some hopes in the future, they're never going to come back. And I hope Donald Trump leans on Egypt to immediately give citizenship to all refugees who they take. Donald Trump pointed out a very obvious fact that people may have forgotten. Egypt's going to take refugees. If Donald Trump wants them to take people, Egypt's going to take them because there's 2 billion reasons. That's dollars in military aid that Egypt gets right now to do what Donald Trump wants. That aid does not come for free. Donald Trump is having President Sisi of Egypt to the White House next week, possibly, and he's going to be opening the doors to some refugees. This plan may actually have hope. This plan may happen, and it's better than Joe Biden's plan, and it's better than Barack Obama's plan, and it's better than Jimmy Carter's plan, and it's better than George Bush's plan, both George Bush's, and it's better than Ronald Reagan's plan. It's better than any plan before that because it deals with reality. Israel cannot afford to allow 3 million refugees into the country. It's a Jewish state. There's no place else for the Jews to go and be safe. And Arab neighbors, get used to treating your brothers like they're your brothers. They deserve citizenship. They deserve hope. They deserve the right to work, the right to study in university, the right to have a life, the right to not be on U.S. taxpayer subsidies. Those are all the rights of the Arab people. And I call on Benjamin Netanyahu, if fighting does break out again in Gaza, to announce that a fourth Israeli goal. I invite Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to announce a fourth Israeli goal in the war should fighting resume with Gaza. One, they want to end the governing power of Gaza. They want to end the domination of Gazan terrorists over the people of Gaza. They want to make sure that Gaza never becomes a threat to Israel and Israeli lives again. They want to make sure that a permanent solution to the problems they have, the three Israeli war goals, and Benjamin Netanyahu said them clearly. The fourth goal should be to liberate the Arab people of Gaza from the abuse of their brothers and sisters. The same goal that Donald Trump just laid out quite clearly. It's time that Israel made one of the goals the liberation of their Arab brothers from Arab oppression. And someday, when Benjamin Netanyahu visits the Arabs in their new homes in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Jordan, Syria, and elsewhere, he will be greeted with cheering crowds because he stood up and he stood for the innocent so-called Palestinian victims of their Arab brothers. He helped light the match to the spark to cause their suffering to end. Israelis will be seen as heroes by the Arab brothers when this housing that Donald Trump talked about in a vague, fuzzy, fluffy cloud kind of a way gets built and people live in it and they have hope for a life. It's about time someone came up with a new idea. The old ideas sucked. Was I wrong about Donald Trump? Straight talk. On Israel? Yes, I was. Donald Trump's plan may work. Donald Trump's plan deserves a chance. Give Trump's peace plan a chance. That's my word from Straight Talk Politics. Does it mean I should have voted for Trump? Well, maybe I should have. I'm an Israeli citizen. I adopted that when my wife gave me a choice of staying married and becoming an Israeli citizen or being divorced and being alone in America. So I went to Israel. I'm a citizen. I'm an American. I'm eligible to run for president of the United States if I was stupid enough. And I'm proud of both my citizenships, but this plan may work. Was it enough to change my vote on Donald Trump? Well, that's a toughie because there's some problems that have to be laid. I talked straight to Democrats just now because you're going to lose me if you continue supporting old plans. The last video I put out was decision time for Democrats on Israel, and it is. And it's decision time for Democrats on Trump. His plan deserves their wholehearted, full-throated support. Democrats, get behind Trump on the Middle East. That's my word to you. That's straight talk to you, Democrats. Does this make up for Trump's DEI code word racism? No. That is disgusting. It was disgusting from the day he said it against Kamala Harris. It was disgusting. His behavior, his violation of the law, his attempts to shut down federal agencies that were duly authorized by Congress. In the 1970 court decision that said that if Congress allocates the money, the president has to spend the money. He is violating the law, and he risks his Middle East peace plan if he continues to violate the law. If he pushes too hard, the way they'll stop him from implementing his Middle East peace plan will be to put him out of office, and he can't be elected another time. That's the 22nd Amendment is very clear. It's a simple English language. He's not going to be elected, so he's going to make the most of it now. His response to the airline crash in Washington, D.C. last week was disgusting. But just because he's a disgusting president does not mean his ideas lack merit. Donald Trump's belligerent words in cooperation with the Biden administration were critical in the recent ceasefire between Gaza, Hamas, and Israel. The Democrats are risking their support by backing the wrong combatant in this war, and they have been risking it for almost 500 days. Democrats, get with it. There's good guys, there's bad guys. In this case, the good guys are Trump, Netanyahu, the Israeli army, the IDF, and the bad guys are the Hamas terrorists that want to continue the enslavement of their people and their use as human shields and continue this 75-year-old cage wrestling match that's disgusting. It's time for it to end. Trump is right about Israel, and his plan deserves a chance. Write your congressman right now. Support the Trump peace plan for Israel. You could win my vote, Donald Trump. Unfortunately, you can't run again. But on the Middle East, you're right. And if you just back off and act like a normal person on domestic policy, I can live with 4 years of you. I can enjoy 4 years of you. It's a refreshing change from the policies of Joe Biden. I don't know what Kamala Harris would have given. I am still proud of having voted for her because I believe that a woman of color, or any woman, is qualified to be the president of the United States. But as far as Israel goes, Trump got my vote there. I vote for his plan, even though I've never voted for him. Trump 2.0 seemed to have the Israeli Prime Minister at a loss for words. He had some verbal battles with Israeli reporters and told them, some of your questions you're asking in Hebrew in the White House can wait till I get back to Israel. You're supposed to ask questions in English in the White House so that Americans can understand it. Trump 2.0 left him at a loss for words. He looked uncomfortable in the White House yesterday. He looked very ill at ease, but Trump backed his war aims. When asked directly would Israel be supported for a strike against Iran, President Trump deflected and made clear that he thinks that Iran will come out better in negotiations than they will going against him. And they're right. We're a more powerful country. And their entire air defense system was destroyed by Israel in one raid in about 2 hours. Well, that's all for today. This is a long podcast, my longest broadcast ever. Maybe not when I get it all put together and compiled and uploaded to the internet. Join our team if you want to become a podcaster. Give Donald Trump's peace plan a chance. Now, I could have gone into more detail, but there's just so much I can remember. There's so many thoughts I can say. The purpose of the presentation was to just remind me to cover my main thoughts. I did read off of it several times because that got me on a roll, and I probably made some mistakes, but at least I didn't swear. So I'm going to go with this as a wrap on take 2 at 16 minutes and some odd seconds. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Press like. Let everybody know they should vote for this podcast. They should support it because this time Donald Trump's peace plan deserves a chance.